So today we will study about the sagittal section. Sagittal section of the head and neck shows the cranium. The cranium is divided into the outer table and the inner table. Inside the inner table, when we go, there is 3 layers of meninges that we can see here. These 3 layers are dura mater, pia mater and arachnoid matter.
One thing I should rectify, it is arachnoid matter, dura matter, then arachnoid and then pia mater.
So the dura mater in the cranium, in the skull, is divided into 2 parts. First, periosteal part, and second, the meningeal part. After that, when we go deeper in the meninges, we can see the cerebral cortex along with the corpus callosum, the lateral ventricle, the brain stem and the cerebellum. In the cerebral cortex, we can see the central gyrus traveling from here, the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum is a collection of
Nerve fibers.
white nerve fibers that are commissural fibers.
So what to tell about the gyra and sulci? We cannot see in this. Now we move to the next.
So the inside the corpus callosum is the lateral ventricle, and just below the lateral ventricle, the area of cerebrum shows the thalamus.
Okay. How we can identify thalamus? It is anteriorly or posteriorly?
Anteriorly and inferiorly to the lateral ventricle is the thalamus.
Can you point out it?
This is thalamus. After thalamus, when we go downwards, just below the
thalamus is a sensory area.
Yeah. So just below the thalamus is the hypothalamus, and when we go below hypothalamus, this stalk that we can see is pituitary gland.
Okay, the pituitary gland is located in some bone.
Sella turcica. It is situated inside the pituitary fossa, or also called as sella turcica, in the base of skull.
So behind this, it is the sella turcica.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here it is when we trace it down here, this is sella turcica.
Okay.
Where the pointer is placed right now, it is sella turcica. Then we come down to the brain stem. The lateral ventricle, just below the lateral ventricle is the midbrain. This is midbrain.
How you identify it is midbrain? What is the structure which is present? So what you are seeing
This
here
is
is red
midbrain.
midbrain.
Just below midbrain is the pons, and when we go below pons, this is medulla. So now describing the cavities and the ventricles. The lateral ventricle descends into the third ventricle by foramen of Monro. After traveling from third ventricle, the third ventricle continues into the fourth ventricle, which is present just anteriorly to the cerebellum.
So we have studied in the book that fourth ventricle is quadrilateral in shape.
Rhomboid in shape. Not
shape.
quadrilateral in shape. It is rhomboid in shape. It is also called rhomboid fossa, and it develops from the rhombencephalon part of the embryological brain.
Can we see here its boundary?
No, we cannot see the boundary here because the sagittal section, while cutting the section, the floor of fourth ventricle is cut apart.
Okay.
After that, the third ventricle is a slit-like opening, a slit-like cavity. After this, it continues through aqueduct of Sylvius into the fourth ventricle. Then behind the fourth ventricle, we can see the cerebellum.
Okay.
After the cerebellum, we can see the folds of meninges. Firstly,
first, you should tell about cerebellum. Why these are like tree-like branches?
So to identify the cerebellum, we can see a stalk that arises from the center of the cerebellum, and around it there are tree-like branching patterns. So this is how you can identify cerebellum. After that, we can see the folds of meninges or meningeal folds present The first one is the falx cerebri. It has showing falx cerebri here. After
Can we
that,
see all the dura mater folds in it?
the next fold that we can see is the tentorium cerebelli, that forms a tent-like structure separating the cerebral cortex to the cerebellar cortex. So this is tentorium cerebelli. After that, when we go below, these bones that we are seeing are the vertebra. This is the first cervical vertebra. This is the second cervical vertebra, third, fourth, fifth, and so on,
How will we identify it as first vertebra?
by counting.
Can you point where is the first vertebra? And its posterior and it is anteriorly. Okay, so basically spinal cord start from this level. This level we can call it foramen magnum.
So here the skull ends, and what we can see here is the foramen magnum. Alright, now when we go anteriorly, this entire structure, this cord-like structure running in between is the spinal cord. This is the medulla. Medulla continues into the spinal cord at the level of C1, C2. Okay. Now when we go anteriorly, the bones that we can see is firstly the sphenoid bone. This entire is the sphenoid bone. After that, here is the ethmoid bone. Here is the frontal bone. What we can see here is this is the maxilla or maxillary bone or the hard palate. After that, this is the mandible. When we go below the mandible, what we can see here is the hyoid bone. Okay. The next thing that we can see are paranasal sinuses, paranasal air sinuses. So as we all know, the skull bones are pneumatic bones. So these have air cavities present in them. First, the frontal bone or the frontal air sinus. Secondly, the ethmoidal air sinuses. These are divided into two parts: anterior ethmoidal sinus and posterior ethmoidal sinus. When we go behind the posterior ethmoidal sinus, there is the presence of sphenoidal air sinus.
Can you point out it?
So here we can see the maxillary bone or the hard palate, and just behind the hard palate is the soft palate.
Yes.
This what we can see here is